Hi, good morning, good afternoon, guys. Good morning, Aziz.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning, Azeez. Good morning, Mr. Ima. Right. Everybody there, good morning.
Nice, good morning.
Hello guys, good morning. How are you guys?
Yeah, hi, good morning. I'm
Good
doing
morning.
well. Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. And also, please, about the conversation we had, I haven't received the email yet.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Uh,
all right, thank you.
Hi Betty, good morning. Obio, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Manuel. Sir, your voice is low. I don't know, is it me?
Is it better?
Yes.
Hi, Aziz.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you? Is this your first time joining? This first time I'm saying. Good evening, Juliet.
No, this is John or Ego. I don't know which one you call me by.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because your name is different. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
he always starts with Eneka. He starts with my surname. That
Oh,
is
okay.
like, yeah, with ENA, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right.
Good morning. I think you're
He's
on my side. Yeah.
yeah, on my side. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, sir.
Uh, yes, I've let everyone in. Yeah, but not sorry about that. Ismail, good evening. Is it Navi? Navi, good evening or good morning, wherever you are. All right. So let's start. Today, this is the last project. And after this project, we are pretty much done. Um, we after that we can talk about the next step, but pretty much this is the last project and we are done. So the goal is that you guys just pretty much take everything we've done so far and run with it, you know. This is just the beginning. I mean, the main thing is just showing you guys pretty much how to get started with a lot of these things. And you guys can take that information and start building on it. Your knowledge does not end here, you know. So, and you shouldn't take your journey as, oh, you've done this project, that's the end. You have to just take what you've learned here and build on it. So, and if you guys want a final project, I can think of one to give you, but mainly just continue learning. That's the key thing. I'm going to share the the agenda with you guys and the project asset. I would say I didn't have time to test it, so I'm praying that everything goes smoothly, and there's no even if there's troubleshooting stuff, we'll figure it out. But I usually don't like troubleshooting during demo because I don't want it to interfere with you guys learning. But I think I kind of looked over it. I think everything looks good, so we'll just go from there. All right. Let's share. 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 Anyone with link? Copy link. Done. All right. So this is the link, everyone. How to join? Um, you can join here. Let me show you. You can sign up here. You can sign up here. So this is my website. If you go here and you click the start the roadmap here, it will take you to the checkout page here.
Well, that's in the screen, though.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, let me share the screen. What I was sharing. So let me just go back. So if you go to my website here, and is this thing delayed? Just a second, guys. Okay. So if you go to my website here and you click on the start roadmap here, it will take you to the checkout page. That's pretty much. So that's for like people on the Zoom call. So that's where you sign up. Anyway, so this is the.
Sorry, Aziz. Before we continue, I want to ask one question, please. So like the subscription I we do, is it for like how long does it like before we renew it? Like
So
when we buy the course.
before it was usually before it was 1 year.
Okay.
So, but since I did this new update, for now, anyone that has like an active subscription now, I pretty much change it to you guys having lifetime access. So
Thank you.
instead of 1 year, it should be lifetime. So,
Thank you very
but
much.
but if you guys don't, but if anyone, let's say you bought my course before and your subscription has ended before, so the lifetime access thing is only extended to people that have active subscription, not if you bought my course before. Because and I'm sorry to say, I always get this with is only mostly. Let me not even just say, but it's only mostly people that are from the same background as me. I mean, we are doing tech stuff, and I trust that everyone is very intelligent and understands what they are signing up for. But I don't like the emotional blackmail where when you sign up for something, then once your access ends, then you pretend as if it was like lifetime access stuff you bought. And I don't like being called a
Yeah,
liar. I
yeah.
get a
That
lot of emails like that all the time, where people, once their access ends, then they pretend that, oh yeah, when I bought it, it was supposed to be lifetime access, this and that. I don't like
because
that.
I saw 6 months. That's where I was coming from because I saw 6 months. So I was like, I should answer you again. Because
Yeah.
when I was signing in, right, I saw 6 months. That was like I think I signed in last month, yeah. So I
Yeah.
saw 6 months. So I said,
Yeah.
let me answer you because I know the last class you were saying you give people access. I said, oh, I didn't answer the question if I'm included.
Yeah. Thank you. So yes, I just changed this maybe like 3 weeks ago. So you are right. It hasn't been that long where I just decided to just make it lifetime access. Yeah. So
Thank you, sir.
so if anyone has any active subscription, then it will be lifetime. But if you have an active subscription now, if it end when it ends, it might still lock you out, but just let me know, then I'll just send you the coupon. Then when you sign up again, then the lifetime thing should kick in. But I have a list of everyone that has an active membership, so there's a way for me to verify. This is this is good
As if
afternoon. Good morning or good afternoon. How are you? I saw your message. I was going to respond, so please bear with me. But how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. Yes, go ahead. Yes, someone was saying something.
yeah, this is
Hi, I'm Mr. Henry.
yeah, how you doing? So about the subscription, sorry, I just logged in and so I had this thing about I know I have an active subscription and it kicks in every month because I don't have the every month. So how does that work? Is it going to kick me out of the month anymore?
Yeah, it does extend to you too, so you're good.
Okay, so the next am I supposed to be the next one or what? How
You
does
said
that work?
what?
Am I supposed to pay the next billing cycle? Like
No, you can cancel it, then I'll just send you the
the code?
the code to sign up for that one. So that
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
That's what I want to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you because you've subscribed for a very long time. And
Yes.
usually even when it renews, I don't have issue with you. But I do get a lot of emails like that where people pretend like they didn't know what they signed up for, and I didn't like that. Yeah, so all right. Yeah, so just remind me. I know I need to send it to Captain. I need to send it to you. So that makes two.
Yeah, and you are still in me one-on-one though, so but
Yeah. So
okay, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Just remind me, please.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, no problem. All right, let's start. So I shared the link with you guys. Let me share it on Slack here. So that's the link to the Google Drive. Let me open it here. Here you are. You see the Ansible folder, right? Just, I think you can download it, right? You can download it. The download button is here. And if you click that, I should download it on your computer. Wisdom, good evening. How are you? All right. So we're just going to, the main thing I want to show you guys with Ansible is just like some basic stuff about it, how to set it up, just having an understanding on it, right? Funny enough, my current project now, we use Ansible. That's all we use, Ansible and Jenkins. But the thing about it is they've already set up their environment before I joined the project. So mainly all I'm doing is running their playbook. Or they may have um they may have a task for me to change something in the playbook. It's usually something very minor, right? The type of service that your tool you'll be using at work, it just depends on what project you are on. So you really don't know, which is Mr. Tolani, good evening, sir. Which is why you should just learn. That's why I'm showing you guys everything, right? Then you build more projects on it and you can go from there. So, all
What's
right.
the difference between Red Hat Ansible and just regular open source Ansible? Is there a difference?
There's probably no difference. I think, and I don't know I think if I'm not confused, I think Ansible is owned by, I don't know, right? But it's not, there's no difference. It's the same. It's maybe Red Hat one probably comes with like a subscription, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think Red Hat owns it, the software itself.
Okay.
And the regular Ansible is probably the open source one is probably the one everyone can use, but then the Red Hat one probably comes with some type of paid subscription. So
Okay. Thank you.
but don't hold me to it. I'm not 100% sure.
No problem. I could
Okay,
research.
thank you. Yeah, Mr. Tolani just confirmed Red Hat does own Ansible. I think I've seen it somewhere before. So if you have the Red Hat one, it probably maybe there's like some additional features on that one that's like not the open source one we are using. All right. So download the file. Once you download it, you should have a Ansible folder. You should have an Ansible folder, unzip it, and these files are in there. I didn't send you guys an email on setting up your environment. So I ended up creating a Terraform file that we are going to use. The Terraform file, because you need your VPC with everything set up in it. And by that, I mean your route tables, VPC, your route tables, and NAT gateway, EC2 instance connect endpoint. But I didn't send you guys an email to set it up because I know we deleted it on the which project before we start our Terraform project, we deleted it. So I just created a Terraform file, which is this Terraform and this main file. This will create our VPC, EC2 instance connect endpoint, and the security groups we need. That's the starting point because at this point, everyone already knows how to create a VPC. So there's no reason to there's no reason to go through creating the VPC again. We really just want to focus on deploying Ansible. So let's open our project folder. Let's open our project folder. I'm going to just open Visual Studio Code. And open our project folder here. We can create a folder here. We can create a folder in our project folder here. It's either two things you can. It won't hurt anything, but let's just create a folder here and I'll create a folder here and I'll just call it maybe like BPC infra. Right. So this is just to create a VPC. It's something you can delete later on, or when you are organizing your folder, just find somewhere to put it. And I'm going to put the main.tf and the Terraform tf these two. I'm going to put it in that folder. Remember, this is just to create our VPC and all the resources we need, the network resources we need for this project. So in here, before we apply it in here, I have the provider already. So with this provider, you need to configure the default profile. You guys know you should already have a profile on your computer. You guys know when we created a user with access key and secret access key, and you run AWS configure, that configure a default profile. As long as you have that default profile, this provider block will pick it up. And here is the backend. For the backend, you don't need to change anything here. The key, you can leave this key, but make sure you update your bucket name here. The bucket in your AWS account that you've been using to store your state file. If I go in S3 and let me look for that bucket. Terraform state. So whatever bucket you guys were using in your Terraform, you can use the same bucket. Just copy the bucket name, and that's what you replace this with. Because don't use the same name. This bucket is in my AWS account now. It will fail. So update this to your bucket name, and everything else is the same. Right? Everything else you can leave. There's nothing else to change here. Then in your TFVAS file, if you are using a different region, update your region here, and everything else can stay the same.
Sorry, Aziz, when you're using the same buckets, aren't we going to create a new folder where to store where to put
Yes, sir.
the back?
So
Okay.
yeah. So that's what the key does. So you can see here, we are putting it in this bucket, right? And the key is what creates the folder. So the key is saying create a folder called Terraform and create a folder called Ansible. In that Terraform folder, I will create another folder called Ansible. And in that Ansible folder, it will store your state file.
Now, I was thinking this new name is what you copy from the previous one. Is that a new one for?
The new name, I don't understand.
I mean, I thought you copied from previous projects. Is the key new now? Is it new? Terraform, is it new or from the old project? I was thinking we're going to change Terraform there.
No, yeah, Terraform is, yeah, I see what you're saying, but so let me show you. So you can see in this S3 bucket that I'm using to store my Terraform state file, you can see this is the Terraform, right?
Right.
So in that Terraform folder, it created another folder called
Oh,
Ansible.
okay.
So if you have other projects you've worked on, it would still use, it would just create, as
A new
long as
folder.
as long as the project name is, the project folder name is different, it will still use that Terraform folder, but in it, you might have Ansible, you might
Got
have
you.
Docker, you might have, yeah. So the main thing in the key is this needs to change. So it will still continue to use the same folder in your S3 bucket, but it will just create another folder in there for the specific thing. In there, it will put the state file.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And your state file, your TFS file is here. So I'm just going to run it now. Open integrated terminal. Do Terraform init. And Terraform apply. I'll type yes. Bernard, are you using a different link? Because I don't see anyone waiting in the waiting room. Maybe you are using a different link. Can you send me a message on Slack and I'll send you the link? Not sure. I'm not sure which link you are using. Because I don't see you in the waiting room. Send me a message on Slack, then I'll send this meeting to you. All right, we're just going to wait for this to be done. And we'll move on to the next. Also, let me see if I can find my Ansible's reference architecture. I think I created one. Yeah, I don't think I have an updated Ansible one, but let me find the old reference architecture we can use. Oh, okay, you can use this one. All right, so while that one is running, also in this Ansible folder, your reference folder, I have the project agenda there. Where is it? So I have the Ansible lecture agenda. I have the PDF version and the Word version in there because I'm not sure what you guys have access to. So If you can open the PDF, open the PDF. And if you don't have Microsoft Word, you can probably most likely open this in Google Docs. So just open one of this. I'm going to open this PDF version of it. Right. So this is the order we are going to use to pretty much complete this project. So first, there's the security groups, how the security groups is set up. We will use the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to our server, right? Both the Ansible server, any server will use the EC2 instance connect endpoint. Then we have an application load balancer security group where we are opening port 80 and port 443 from anywhere on the internet. We have the Ansible server security group where we only open port 22, which will allow the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to it. And we have the web server where we are opening port 80 and port 443 from the ALB security group and port 22 from the Ansible server security group. So those are the main things we are setting up here. Once this Terraform is done applying, those are the things it is going to set up. The EC2 instance connect endpoint usually take a while. So Bernard, I don't see a message. Where did you send it? I don't see a message. All right. So I can probably cover this, right? So once that is set up, the next is the key pair. Because key pair is what we will use to, the method the Ansible will use to connect to your server is using SSH. And SSH is the same idea for the SSH is the same idea we use when we connect into our EC2 instance. Remember we said when you create a key pair, you have two keys, the public key and the private key. The public key is what you are going to add to the instance or whatever entity you are trying to connect to. And the private key is what whoever is trying to connect will have. So we already have our key pair from when we set up our GitHub to be able to clone our repository. I think we can use the same key pair. So let me just figure out, we can use the same key pair and I'll show you guys in a second. Let me just make sure this is done. Okay, that is done. We can review it real quick. I'm going to, type VPC. I mean, there's not really much to review here except for the security groups. Let's just review the security groups real quick. And here I'll filter this by my Ansible. I could name this one Ansible. So Ansible VPC. Refresh here. And here, I don't know why that is not working. So I'm just going to VPC ID. It's the one that ends in 86. Okay, yeah. So you can see we have the EC2 instance connect endpoint. So whatever ends at the end, that is the service that will be using it. Here, this does not have an inbound rule, but then it has an outbound rule that is only allowing the VPC CIDR. Then the next one is the Ansible server security group. That one is allowing, the outbound rule is all, and the inbound rule is SSH only from the EC2 instance connect endpoint, because only the EC2 instance connect endpoint should be able to connect to it. Then we have the ALB, which will allow traffic from anywhere on the internet, port 80 and port 443. Then we have the web servers. The web servers will allow access from the ALB, right? And would only allow SSH traffic from the Ansible server. So you can see from the Ansible server. So if we want to connect into our web servers, we will have to connect through the Ansible server, which is how we want it. So those are all the security groups. And that's pretty much that setup. From a reference architecture standpoint, we can still use this reference architecture, right? Let's assume these are the web servers we are trying to connect to, right? And this is our Ansible server. So the way we set up our security group now is we won't be able to connect to the server. Even if we are using the endpoint, we can't connect to the server directly. That's what we want. Because we want Ansible to do the configuration of our server. So we will connect into the Ansible, and from the Ansible, we can connect to any of the private servers. That's how the security group is set up. All right. So the next thing we have to set up is the key pair. If you can clone your repository, that means you already have a key pair under my username. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. All right, I see it now. All right. So I've sent it. We've already set up SSH, because if I go to the home directory on my computer, in the SSH here, I have my keys there. So if you have a key, so the main thing is whatever key you've already connected to your GitHub account, that's the same key we will use. And here I have two keys, so I'm not really sure which one is connected to this account. I think it's the RSA one. So when you guys created the key, when we did the web, we completed our project, did we create, can someone just confirm, did we create the RSA one or did we create the ED one? Which one do you guys have on your computer? Do you guys have RSA? Because if you guys have the RSA one, that's the one I told you to create. Because I have multiple keys here, because obviously I have multiple repositories from different projects that I'm using. So, but I think it's the RSA one. But even if it's wrong, I can I can change it. I can change it. It's nothing. But you should have your key pair here already. Then in our key pair, what we did is in our GitHub account, right? Yeah. So in your GitHub repository, in your GitHub account, if you go to settings, SSH and GPG keys, I should have named this thing better. I think the RSA one is the one I'm using. Anyway, I'll use the RSA one. So you can see we've already had the key here. We've had the key here, right? So now, once you add the key here, you can clone your repository. I'm just not trying to like start all over, but you guys know we created the key. We have two keys, public key and private key. in order to clone our GitHub repository, we add the public key here, right? So it's the same thing we are going to do. So in the agenda, the same key we set up, which allows us to clone our repository, we are going to add that key into our AWS account, and we will give Ansible that key when we launch Ansible. That would also allow Ansible to be able to clone our repository, clone our repository from our account. Because let me show you something. In the reference architecture, right? The Ansible server is here. And in order to run Ansible, you need what is called a playbook. Let's say this is a playbook. The playbook will be stored in our repository. Let's say this is our GitHub account. The playbook is stored in our GitHub account, right? And this is your computer here, right? So let's say you create a repository here in GitHub. You've already set up your SSH key, so you can clone and push things back and forth to that repository. So let's say you create your playbook here, right? You push it to your GitHub repository. And in order to run that playbook, the Ansible server needs to clone that playbook, right? Then once the playbook is on the Ansible server, then you can run it to do whatever you need to do, right? So what I'm trying to say is the same key we're already using to clone here, we can set up the same key on the Ansible server so it can clone.
So, Prof, in this case, is the Ansible server serving like the jump server into those other servers, like the web server?
You say, is it like a jump server?
Yeah, is it acting like a jump server?
Exactly, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. Because we just want to enforce the fact that any configuration we are going to do on our web servers needs to be done through Ansible, not giving someone access to SSH. So yes, it kind of is acting like a jump server. All right. So, and you guys know, in order for anyone to be able to clone stuff, the concept, it remains true, right? Remember when with SSH you have a public key and a private key. You guys should always remember this with SSH, right? The concept is always true no matter where you are trying to set it up. In order to clone our repository, right, we add the public key into GitHub, where I just showed you, and the private key is on our computer. That's why we are able to clone our repository. The same thing is true if Ansible server wants to clone the repository. We've already had the public key here in GitHub. That means that we need to give the Ansible server the private key as well. The same private key we are using here will give Ansible that. That's what will allow Ansible to clone it. This is always true with SSH keys, right? So always remember that. It does not matter whether it's you or a machine, as long as whatever is trying to connect needs the private key, and whatever you are trying to connect to has to have the public key. All right, so let's move on. So we have just because I'm not sure, you know what? Let me just test it real quick. I'm going to remove. I think I have this on my computer. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm going to remove this too, because I think the one I created for this account is the RSA. And I'm going to test whether I can still clone my repository. I was going to pick any random repository. To clone. Oh no, there's the wrong thing I copied. SSH. Okay, I can clone. So it's the RSA I'm using. Okay, perfect. So the first part is done where I was telling you guys we need to add the public key to GitHub and from your computer, right? That's done. So let's just move through the agenda. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to add the public key of that, the RSA, the same one you added to your GitHub that is allowing you to clone your repository. We are going to add this key in our, we are going to import this key. See here, we already did the GitHub part, which is what I just showed you. Now we are going to add the key, the same public key in our AWS account. So to do that, you go in your AWS account here, you type EC2. And type EC2. And on the left menu here, select key pair. And here, click Actions. Remove this something out of the way. And click Import key pair. Then give it a name. I would, let's call it let's call it well, I don't know if I don't think about this name. Let's just call it public key. Key clone. I'll just call it clone repo key. Right. Then you browse to where that key is saved on your computer. It is saved in my home directory here in the .ssh. Going to look for .ssh here. And it should be the public key. You can see it's already picking it up. The one that says pub, select it and click open. And it is going to add the key here. And just in case if some of you guys, if you don't, there's no way for you to see your .ssh, right? You can print the ID of the key, right? You can open the file, copy the ID of the key and paste it here. It's the same thing. Then once you add it, you're going to click import key. And we now have the key here, right? The main purpose of us having the key here is that when we think about it. So this is the public key, right? The main purpose of, honestly, we actually don't need to do this because I'm thinking about if we are connecting to our server here. Oh yeah, we need it. We need it because this key where we need it, right? The point of this key, this SSH key, we just add here is that we said that it's the same is still true, but maybe I'll delete it and re-import it. This is not to clone repository because in order for the Ansible server to clone the repository, it will need the private key. But the one we just added is the public key, right? Remember, we're going to put the private key on the Ansible server. And we are going to, the key we just import is the public key. We are going to put the public key on these servers. And that is how the Ansible server will be able to connect to them. Right? And with the same private key the Ansible server has, right, it will be able to clone the repository from GitHub. So the key we just added, we need it, but those keys are for these web servers. Let me re-import it because I want to name it properly. So I'm going to delete it. Type delete in here. And I'm going to do that again. Import key. Give it a name. Let's just call it Ansible key. And Ansible.
Would you want to add public to it?
Sure. Oh, good. Okay. Right, then we'll browse, select it, open, and import. So you guys, that's how you can create a key on your computer and import it into AWS. AWS does allow you to do that. So once we've done that, let's move on. We've added the key to the management console. Now we are going to launch the Ansible server, right? So when we launch the Ansible server, we will use Amazon Linux 2023, T2 Micro. We will select our SSH that we create, our security group that we created for the Ansible server. We will launch it in a private subnet, and we would paste this user data script there. We'll paste this user data script to be able to install. So what this user data script is supposed to do, the server that you are using to run Ansible, we will install Ansible on it. That's what this is doing. So this will install Ansible on that server, right? So let's, in the management console here, I'm going to launch an instance and give it a name. Let's call it Ansible server. And it is going to be Amazon Linux 2023. Instance type is T2 Micro. Key pair, we don't need a key pair because we will use the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to it. And network, edit, select your VPC. It's the dev, the one we are using is the dev Ansible VPC. Then here I'm going to select the subnet, which is the private app subnet, EZ1 or private app subnet, EZ2. Anyone is fine. Then we're going to choose an existing security group, then select the security group that has Ansible on the end. So it should be dev Ansible security group Ansible, that one. And if you look at this security group, we can review it later, but let me remove this. And that's all we need to do here with this. Then just scroll down to advanced details here, all the way down to user data section. We will paste this user data script. This is going to install Ansible on that server. And paste it. It should look like this. Right. And we are going to click launch. We've launched the instance. I will click. I just want to see that because I have other instances there. So I'll say this instance and click instances here. I have other instances that I'm in my AWS account here for projects that I'm working on. But I'll just filter it by instance ID, this one. All right, we have that Ansible server. The security group is, yeah, you can see inbound rule, SSH from the EICE. That's what we want because only the EC2 instance connect endpoint. The Ansible server is here. We'll use the EC2 instance connect endpoint. Let's just assume it's not on this architecture because this is the old one. We use the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to it. But the EC2 instance connect endpoint cannot connect to this ones, only to this server. Then once we are in here, we can connect to this server if we want to with the Ansible. So far, does anyone have any question?
Yeah, Prof, could you go back to the console?
Sure.
The inbound security group.
Sure.
Yes, I'm looking at the inbound. It's on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the inbound is right.
It's on port 20. Okay, yeah.
Port 22.
Sorry,
yeah.
I was looking at the outbound. I thought.
This was it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's the way they did it like this here. The inbound is up here.
Okay.
All right. We just wait for this to finish. Then we would connect to it. We'll just test it as we go. I think the initializing won't hurt anything, so I'm going to just connect to it now. Click connect, then you connect using private IP and connect. All right, once we connect, let's run Ansible -- version just to check that Ansible is installed. Ansible. Ansible. So you can see once you run Ansible -- version and you get this output, it means Ansible is installed on it and we are good to go. All right.
Do we need to start Ansible or it's already configured to automatically?
It's already configured to do that. Yeah. So it's not. I don't think it's like the Apache one where you have to start. Once you install it, it's ready to go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we've done this part, set up our Ansible server, right? So we have also connected to the Ansible server now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add our private key to the Ansible server. Remember from the reference architecture I was showing you guys, I was saying we need to add the private key here. And that private key is what will allow it to clone repository and will allow it to connect to this server. Because these ones have the public key. Public, public, public. All right. So on the Ansible server, we are going to cd into the .ssh directory. So type cd.ssh. Once you are in the .ssh, we can use vi to add the key file. So what this is saying is here is we're going to type sudo vi id_rsa. Sudo vi id_rsa. Right, and press enter. So once you type that, it is going to bring you into VI is like a way, is like a tool you can use to edit a text file on Linux, right? So it is going to bring you in here. And the next thing is we are going to add our key in here. But before we do anything in here, let's open our key. I'm going to go back to my SSH directory where the private key is, which is this one. So one thing I want to mention is if your key is the ED one, whatever name you are seeing here for the name of the file, that's the same name you should use when you are running your sudo. I'm not sure I don't remember the one for the ED, right? You can see the one I'm using is id_rsa. That's why I type sudo vi id_rsa. So if you are using the ED one, just type the same name of the file. So I'm going to open with here, Notepad, and this is the key print. I'm going to select Control A and Control C. Make sure you don't change anything in there. Just select everything and copy it. Then on your Ansible, to paste it in VI, the first thing you have to do is press I. You can see once you press I down here, you will see it will say insert. That means you are in insert mode. That means you can now put stuff in the file. And now you paste what you copied in there. And you can see I pasted it. And once you've pasted it, to exit this file, you are going to press escape. That would escape out of the insert mode. You can see it's no longer showing insert down here. Then you are going to type colon W Q exclamation mark. So that WQ means write quit. So we are writing it and we are quitting the file. So remember it's WQ exclamation mark and you click and you press enter. So we've created the file. So now if I ls here in that .ssh, you can see the file we just created, which is the private key. We've added the private key to the Ansible server. And if you cat it, cat id_rsa, right, you can see the key is there. That's all we need to do. So we create our Ansible server and we've add our private key. We installed Ansible on it, and we also add our private key here. So we are good to go. The Ansible server is pretty much ready. That's all we need to do to set that up.
Quick question.
Sure.
If we have used, I know you use sudo to get into to VI into the file. If we are just without sudo, will it not go?
No, it won't, because sudo you need
We don't have that right.
Yeah, you need admin privileges to be able to edit
Okay.
the file and put stuff there. Yeah. Now we've done this part. So it also says to set the correct permission. So we've had the file. So let's just run this command, chmod 400 on that file. So here, just paste that there, chmod 400, or you can run it. And see, Mr. Abel, you can see what I'm getting here, right? That is because I probably didn't use sudo. So I need to use sudo. Sudo chmod 400. And there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So We are done. Let's move on to the next. So now we are going to launch the web servers. This is the server we want to use Ansible to connect to configure, right? We can launch, it will be Amazon Linux 2023 T2 Micro. The security group is the web server. We launch it in the private subnet and so on. And when we launch this server, one thing about the server we are trying to connect to, Python must be installed. And on Amazon Linux 2023, I believe Python already comes pre-installed on it. So we are going to install Boto3 and pip. So this is the bash script we will paste on the Ansible's this web server when we launch it. So I'm going to copy. That's the thing about using PDF with this. It's very hard to copy stuff. I'm going to copy this and go back to the EC2 console, instances, launch instance, and let's call it web servers. Web and it is going to be Amazon Linux 2023 AMI, instance type T2 micro. The key pair. So for the key pair, you select this drop down and you want to select the Ansible public key. Because remember, whatever the Ansible, in order for the Ansible server to be able to connect to it, this server needs to have the public key. So this is the public key to the private key we just add to the Ansible server. And here I'm going to choose our VPC and we would add we can put it in the private app subnet easy one and select an existing security group and we'll select the web security group, Ansible security group, web server. And here, under advanced details, we also want to select under IAM instance profile, we are going to select the S3 row we created. So any row, you guys should still have that row in your account. So the IAM row, anyone. As you can see, I can see full access here. I'll select this one. Then scroll all the way down and paste your user data script here. Then once you paste it, that's all we need to do. We are going to launch instance. And we can view that instance. And the instance is here. Just click view instances. You can see the instance is here. All right. So once we have the server, right, the next thing we'll do is we will test whether the Ansible server can connect to that web server, right? So to do that, we will SSH into the Ansible server, and from the Ansible server, right, we will test whether we can connect to the web server, and we will also verify that the web server has Python3 and Boto installed. So I'm going to close this SSH. We can use that, but I'll just close it for now. And again, we are going to connect to the Ansible server. Let me make sure this server is running. Okay, so we're going to connect to the Ansible server. right? So once we connect to the Ansible server, from the Ansible server, we'll connect to the web server, right? To connect to it, we are going to run the SSH command, which is SSH. Then it will be EC2. The username of the EC2, the server we are trying to connect to is EC2, EC2 -user at. Then we'll go and copy the private IP of that instance. Copy the private IP and paste it here and press enter. Right, the first time you try to connect, you'll ask you this question, type yes and press enter. Right, so load key, the EC2 RSA, permission denied, permission denied. I think it's probably because of the, let me just check this. It's probably because of the permission on the key, but you guys, when you guys run it, you probably wouldn't get an error. That's why I should probably create a different, I should probably create incoming. Just want to check this error. I know it has to do with the permission of the key, so okay, you have two errors. Okay, so it's saying, that's why it is saying, yeah. So it is saying that I have two errors here, right? Load the key, permission denied. The private key file has the wrong permission. SSH refused to use the key. It's too widely open. But I just ran that chmod. Okay, so it's pretty much saying that I should run the chmod 400 again. All right. So here, I'm still on the Ansible server, right? So I'm going to run that chmod 400 again. So I'm gonna. So let me use sudo. But I'm not sure if whether it's that just cd into cd .ssh ls right. So you can see the key here. I'm just going to give it. Maybe that chmod 400 is not working because of the
It's because you didn't use sudo.
yes, I used sudo the first time and it didn't give me any error. But I'm suspecting maybe that's even what is causing it to. Okay, So that's what I was suspecting. The fact that because Claude was saying run it without the sudo, but obviously I can't run it without the sudo. So running it with the sudo is is pretty much changing the permission of that key. So you can see here it's saying it's owned by the root user, which sudo is the root user. So fix it by changing the ownership first, then setting the permission. So I need to run this. Right. Then I need to run this again without the sudo. I should probably change the permission. Okay, that worked now. So if I now do that ls, it's still the same thing. Let me just give it this.
No, but it has changed from the execution to the root now.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. No, you know what I was looking at? I was looking at the arrow here, but I'm not seeing the here, right? So before it was root, now it has changed to easy to user. But let me just confirm. I'm going to I believe it's right now, but just want to confirm. Going forward, when you paste the key into the Ansible server, use BI. Oh, I see. So you're saying like going forward. So it says here, going forward, when you paste the key into the Ansible server, use BI without sudo. So Mr. Abel, you might be right, but I was under the assumption that if you use the if you don't use sudo, you won't be able to create the key. But using sudo actually changed the permission on the key.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, you learn something new every day. All right, perfect. So basically, the issue I had was just because of the way I pasted my private key here. So the correct thing is when you are running the command, don't use sudo, right? The next thing we need to do is just run that command again to verify again. So here, I'm going to go back here. All right. And I'm just going to refresh here to come back to the home. Right. And I'm going to SSH, or if I look for that command, all right, run this one. I'll type yes, and there you go. Enter. You can see I've connected to my web server. You will know I'm in the web server because look at the IP. I look at this IP is the IP of the Ansible server, right? And look at the IP that I'm in now. This is the web server. You can tell it's the web server because if I go here, the web server is the one with the IP 10.0.3.90. Yeah, you can see 10.0.3.90.
Do you already have the files loaded in the S3 bucket from that web server?
The web server?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like you mean the web server we're about to deploy?
Okay, that would be the okay. Sorry about that. That should be the app server, right? That's okay.
No, it's okay. Actually, so you mean the website we're about to deploy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we should have the file in our S3 bucket from project one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
in terms of the location of those S3 files for the web server, that would be in the app server, or will you put it in the web server?
no, ask your question again. Sorry, I'm a little bit lost.
I'm looking at where those S3 bucket. Which of the servers are you going to load the S3 bucket to serve the web
The web files is saved in S3 right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's saved in S3, but it's something we've done from project 1. So if we go to S3, we're just using a file we've already created before. So here,
that makes sense.
So here, bucket, right? Well, if you guys don't have the bucket, I mean, everyone here should already have the bucket because most people have completed project 1. So I think it's this one, project 1 asset. Our web file is already here. All right. So the main thing I want you guys to understand is the connection between the server Ansible is installed on and the web server you are trying to connect to is done through SSH, right? Which is the server needs to have the private key and the Ansible server needs to have the private key and the web server you are trying to SSH into needs to have the public key. It is not Ansible doing that connection. The connection is there because of the existence of the private key here and the public key here. That needs to be done before Ansible can even do anything, right? So it is not Ansible that is doing the connection for you. If we didn't install Ansible on this server, right, the connection still needs to be there. And that's what we just tested, because what we just tested is we run regular SSH command to SSH into our server. All right. Now we need to check our commands. We need to verify that Python is installed and Boto3 is installed. So here, I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. Press enter. You can see Python version Boto3. Okay. And we are done with that part. All right. So now this is where we'll set up our GitHub repository for the playbook, right? So we can use the same project, no. Let's just create a new repository because if we clone it, the clone will have all these other projects you've worked on. So, and that may, I mean, it'll just be too much power we are cloning. So let's not do that. Let's just create a new repository. Right, so in your GitHub account, you click new and let's call it, let me see if I give it a name here. Yeah, let's just call it Ansible playbooks. So we'll call it Ansible playbooks. Right? And we can use the same name for the description. And it is going to be a private repository. And we can add a README and click create repository. Right? Once you create the repository here, we are going to clone it on our computer. So going to select code, SSH, copy, and open the terminal. I'm just going to clone it on the home directory on my computer. So you can see here, I'm already in the home directory here. So it'll be git clone. And paste that. You can see I cloned it successfully. I'm going to now cd into it, Ansible, cd and Ansible playbook. I'm in it right here. Then I'm going to open it in Visual Studio Code. Code space dot. On PowerShell, if you type code space dot, it will open it in Visual Studio Code. But in case if it's not working, I know on Mac you have to set it up to do that. So if it's not working, just open it in Visual Studio Code. Open that folder you just cloned on your computer in Visual Studio Code. And here, I'm in the Ansible playbooks repository, right? Then set up the repository. We cloned it on our computer. The same thing we did here, right? Remember, this is what we are trying to do. We are making updates. We are making updates on our computer. We're pushing it to GitHub. Then Ansible server is pulling it in and using it, right? So the same thing we can do. We just did, we cloned that repository on our computer. We're going to do the same thing here, right? So you can see here, I'm still in the web server. So to exit the web server, just type exit. And you can see connection closed. Now I'm back on the Ansible server. I'm going to clear my screen here. Right? And how you would know you are on the Ansible server is if you type Ansible -- version, right? You should get that, right? So you know you are on the Ansible server. So now we are going to clone that repository on the Ansible server too. So I'm going to code SSH copy. And here we are going to type git clone, paste, press enter, type yes, press enter. You can see I've successfully cloned the repository on the Ansible server. So now if we type ls here, you can see the repository we just created, Ansible playbooks, and you can go into that repository, see the Ansible's playbook, ls, you'll see what is in there. So far, we only have a README file. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, so why do we have to clone it to the Ansible server at the same time on the GitHub? Doesn't it pull it automatically from the GitHub repo?
So you said why are we cloning it on the
Ansible server as well as also the fact that it's also in the GitHub repo we just created.
Right, yeah. So look at it visually, right? Your GitHub repository is here. Outside of your AWS account, right? Your Ansible server is here. The playbook you are trying to run is in here. The only way to get the playbook on your server is to clone the repository.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think it's because we are doing double clone. That's probably what's confusing you, right?
Yeah.
So remember, the clone to your computer is for you it makes it easier for you to make the change. Because imagine if you had to edit your file on the Ansible server. You can do it there, right? We can make changes to our file on Ansible server and pull it to our local, but it's just much harder to do that way than edit your files here on your computer, push it to GitHub, then Ansible server pulls the update.
So now does that mean that we're gonna make two changes on our computer and on Ansible server?
No, you're only making one change. Because any change we make here, we'll push it here.
Right.
Ansible server will pull that change.
Oh, okay. So what we pull into Ansible server is the change that we already made.
Yes,
in
we are
GitHub.
making our update on our computer, updating our remote repository, and Ansible is pulling that change.
Cool.
And the same is vice versa. We can make changes on Ansible server, push it back to the repository, and we will pull it. That's how GitHub works. The change can work in either direction. You understand, right?
Right.
So
Right.
do we always have to manually pull it from Ansible, from the GitHub?
Yes. Yes. You always, every time you SSH into your Ansible server, the first command you always usually run is git pull.
Git pull, okay.
Because people are always pushing update to the playbooks repository here. There's always new updates all the time. So once you are in your Ansible server, you run git pull, get the latest update. Because someone may have made a change to the playbook, you run git pull, get the latest update, then you can now use that playbook to do whatever you want to do.
But is there an automated way to pull any updates on the GitHub into Ansible? Maybe like a web pull?
Yes, there's things you can set up. If you're setting up in the CI/CD pipeline, the pull will be part of your workflow. But because we are learning now, I'm showing you guys how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to, let's say it's a CI/CD pipeline that is running your Ansible server, right? There will be a git pull in there somewhere that is always pulling the update.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So we are done with this part, right? We've cloned the repository, and we've also cloned it on our local machine here. So now the next thing we'll create is the inventory file. So this is where you guys will see that relationship, the pull, git pull, and other stuff work, right? We need to create an inventory file for Ansible. And what an inventory file is an inventory file is a file that has the list of servers you want Ansible to run the playbook on. For this lecture, we're just setting up a simple inventory file, which would, Hannah, how are you? Sorry, I'm not really looking at the comments, but how are you? So we are setting up a simple inventory file. Inventory file is a file that Ansible used to recognize the servers you are trying to configure. The inventory file, you can group them. Like, for example, you can have like server and have the IP address of those server on there, and you can have server 2 and you have the IP. You can be creative with it, but we are just setting up a simple inventory file here, right? So to create the inventory file in our Ansible playbooks repository, we are going to right click here, new file, call the file inventory, right? Name it like this, no extension, press enter, and make sure the name is inventory, because that's what Ansible will look for, right? And in this inventory file, you see we have here. You can either group them. So if you have this bracket here, you can group them by servers, right? Or you can just even list the IP address there, the IP address of the server you want to connect to. And here, this is saying that this is the default Python interpreter that it would use, right? So that's how you create an inventory file. So in this inventory file now, let's just list the IP address, right? So here we'll go to the Management Console instance, right? This is our web server. We only have one server now we are trying to connect to, right? And we'll copy the private IP address of that server. And in your inventory file, you paste it there. Once you paste it, press enter. And you can also, you have to put this there to tell it what Python interpreter you should use, right? Copy this part and paste it somewhere down here, right? And and save. Or if you want to, you can also group it by web servers, right? So you see how this is? So you can group it by web servers. So let's say you have some servers that are different servers that you want to run different playbooks on. You can say server 1, server 2, then you will have their IP address there. And when you call the playbook, you can tell the playbook which servers you want to run the playbook on, right? So, but here, the main point is just for you to understand how, because is this something they may ask you on oh, is that to hear? Sorry. Is it better now? Yeah, my mouth was, what, can you guys hear me clear? All right.
Yes, very clear.
Okay, good. So, so, like I was saying, the main point is the main point here is that when they ask you how does Ansible recognize the servers you are, what is an inventory file? Most of the time, if you are doing a interview on Ansible, the volume is low. Yeah. I'm not sure, Rocket Man. I'm not sure. Maybe it might be on your end. Can anyone else hear me clearly? People here can hear me clearly. Um, so the main thing is if they ask you about inventory file, right? Inventory file is how Ansible recognize the servers you are trying to connect to. So here we've just listed the IPs of those servers. So if we have 10 servers, right, we can list their IPs here as well. And you know what? Let's just launch 3 more servers or 4 more servers so we can, yeah, we'd launch another EC2 instance, we'll say web server. Right? It will be Amazon Linux 2023. Instance type will be T2 micro. Key pair, it will be the Ansible key. We'll select our Ansible VPC and subnet. We can select private app subnet EC2, that's fine. Security group, we are going to select our web server security group. And advanced details, we would make sure they have access to S3. And we have to paste our user data here to make sure Boto3 is also installed on them. So this one. All right. Then let's launch maybe 3 and click launch. So it's going to launch 3 instances here. 1, 2, 3. And I'll just filter it by my VPC. I think it's this one. There you go. So for the new servers that I'm launching, I'm going to copy their IP. You can see the private IPs here. I'm going to copy it and paste it here. And copy this, paste it here. Now copy this. and paste it here. Right? So we have all 4 web servers here. Then let's save it. So it doesn't matter if you have 50 servers. That's the beauty about Ansible, because it's like server configuration and based on however you group it, it knows where to go, and it knows based on what's on your playbook, it will install whatever is on your playbook on those things. Right? And also another thing I want to mention is, you see here in this project, the main thing is just showing you the inventory file and how it works, right? At work, as you guys know, there will be servers that are launching, servers that are getting terminated and all that stuff. There is a way to automatically create your there's a way to automatically create your inventory file that automatically pulls the list of instances on your AWS EC2 console and store them in the inventory file and also group them. There's like a Python code you can use to do that, right? I forgot, there's a name for it, but most likely out at your job, that's the method they'll be using to create their inventory file. But the concept of an inventory file is still the same, meaning that it is a file that is used to identify the servers you want to configure. All right. And that's that with the inventory file. Does anyone have any question? All right. So now that we have the inventory file, right, this is what we are going to do. We are going to save it here, right? Once we save it, then we have to push it into our GitHub repository, right? So we say create inventory file, right? I'm going to push it, right? So once we push it on our Ansible server, I have too many things open here. You can see I've pushed it here. If I refresh here, you can see the inventory file is there. So on the Ansible server, we are still in the Ansible playbooks repository. Remember, you have to be in the repository because that's the repository we clone. Then we'll do git pull. Because right now in that repository, before I do git pull, let me clear, and if I type ls, you can see I only have the readme file in there. So in order to get the latest update I just did, I'm going to do git pull. See, I've pulled it. And now if I ls again, you can see the inventory file is there. So vice versa, I can use VI to edit this inventory file, push it back to GitHub, and I'll pull it on my computer to have the latest thing. So you can make changes either on your Ansible server or on your computer. It's just easier to make your change on your computer and push it. So now we need to test, right? We need to test whether we can connect to we need to test whether Ansible can ping the servers on our inventory file, right? And this is the command we will use. Is there a way to make this thing? All right. This is the command we will use, right? The command is Ansible all, meaning all servers on our inventory file. And if you want to limit it to a specific server by the group, for example, you see how I have that group thing, I say web server, you put the server name there and it will only run it on the servers that belongs to that group. So we say all, right? Then the flag here, this is the path to our private key, which our private key it will be in the home.ssh, and the name of that file for our private key is id_rsa. And I is our inventory file, and the name of our inventory file is inventory. And M is the module, right? The module we are trying to use, and here we are pinging. We are just pinging it. And the username of the server we are connecting to is EC2-user, right? That's this command. So let's copy this command. Let's copy this command and paste it here. Press enter. You can see it is running. You can see that one, it says success, the first one. The other ones are probably delaying because let me just make sure those EC2 instances are up and running. Okay, they are running. Let me check my inventory file, make sure I saved it. Yeah, I did. So that other one probably failed because let me just run that command again. No, it's still running. So the second one failed, the third one failed. I don't know. Let me try it again. That was successful. I don't know, maybe it's because I was pressing enter, that's why I failed, but let's see. But if not, I'll test whether I can connect to it first. Maybe it's the security group. So two things, we already know our setup works because we can ping the first server we set up. So the other one, too, I launch is the new one. Did I select key pair? I don't think I select the key pair. Let me just cancel here. So if it's stalling like that, that means like there's something wrong with it. So the connection. So let me see here. I can't remember if I selected my key pair. I don't think I did. Security details. I did. And select the Ansible public key. So let's try this method first. Let's just see if we can connect to it, and so we can see the error. So I'll do SSH EC2 -user at, just grab one of those instances. Yeah, we can use this one. Paste. Yes. So I can connect to it. Maybe I just need to give it time to load because I just launched those EC2 instance. Maybe some Ansible ping is taking. So so I've connected that EC2 instance. So if I can connect to one, I should be able to connect to all of them because I launched them the same way. I'm going to exit out of this. Clear. So I'm back in the Ansible. So server, I'm going to run that ping command again. So you can see this, the first one. That is weird. Well, it's not because, and I can ask Claude why that is because I don't understand why it is doing that. Maybe there's a flag I need to add. And what I'm talking about is, so after I connected to that server, right? obviously it makes sense because when you connect to it for the first time, it adds the, you remember that question it asks you, it adds that IP of that server into the known host. So I guess when I'm pinging it again, it recognizes it and is going to obviously, but for the ones that I haven't connected to yet, it should still pick it up, but it is somehow is not. So maybe there is something I need to do that. Because for example, if I connect to them, right? Let's do that. I'm just going to ask Claude real quick. Maybe there's a flag I need. This is new to me.
Did we open port 22 on those ones?
Yes, we did.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. I can connect. There's nothing wrong with what we set up.
Yeah.
I can connect to them if I SSH what? If I SSH into it now, SSH EC2 -user at, then I'll copy the other one is 10. Let me just type it 10.0.4.51. Right? You see this question, like this is what is adding it to the known host. Right? I'll type yes. You can see I can connect to it. Right? Yeah. I'm going to exit out of it. Now, if I run my ping command from Ansible, it will connect to it.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's not picking it up automatically, which it should. Let me just ask Claude. Okay.
It could be a flag that we need to.
Exactly. When I run the Ansible ping command, it is only picking up the server that I I'm not even sure how to connected to.
That I've previously
True.
connected to.
Previously. Connected to. True. SSH. Server. So let me give it that screenshot. Funny enough, when I tell Claude stuff, I always feel like I'm going to lose my train of thought. So I'm just always typing what's on my mind, not even worrying about grammar and spelling. And it always understands what I mean. So, yeah.
Are you on the paid version of Cloud?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Correct. Ansible uses SSH under the hood by default. See, that was what I was telling you guys. Like it's SSH that is doing that under the hood by default requires those hosts to already be in the known host, which is what I suspected. Like because when I SSH into it, it would put them in the known host. Then Ansible is able to recognize it, right? has never been manually SSH into. So the key is the key verification fail. Okay, option 1, disable non-host on checking. Oh, okay. Okay, we haven't set up our configuration, our Ansible configuration thing, so we can probably do that next. Oh, and option 2, manually SSH into it, which is what I was doing, right? Obviously, we don't want to, if we have 100 server, we're not going to have to SSH into it manually to add it to the known host, right? So it is saying option 1 is to disable the known host, which is what we would do next. But I guess I was trying to show you guys how to ping it. So let's just create our Ansible CFG file, which is in the thing, right? So that's the next thing we were supposed to create, right? So, but nonetheless, we know we can SSH into our servers from the Ansible. Ansible is able to connect to our server. The ping we just did, right? And we got success. That means that Ansible is ready to go. So any playbook we run now, those playbooks will execute on those servers perfectly. Unless the only issue you will get is if there is an issue with the playbook itself. But as far as for like reaching the servers and running the playbook, it will work. What are we doing now? We are launching an Ansible server that is going to configure our web server and install a website on it. So right now we've set up the Ansible server, we set up the web server. Right now we are creating the playbook. We are setting up the Ansible inventory file, the configuration file, so we can run the playbook on it. Yeah, so let's just create that CFG file because that's the next thing I have here. You can see it's CFG. So, but that's good to know. I didn't even realize that the servers needs to be in the known host, right? So this Ansible configuration file, right? This means that you see all these commands we ran here. Every single time you want to run Ansible, you have to type these commands. But let's say there's some flags that are always the same that you don't need to, like, for example, the inventory will be the same, the EC2 user will be the same, right? You don't need to run it all the time. So in this Ansible CFG file, you will create a file called ansible.cfg and you will put defaults in there, right? And the default, you have the things you don't want to, like some configurations you want Ansible to always have when you run your playbook. So that's what you are seeing here. And what Claude was saying is we need to add that check known host. We need to add it as false. Then it wouldn't check the known host. It would just run everything. All right, so we need to first create an ansible.cfg. You can copy this and in your repo, local repo here, the Ansible playbooks, we are going to create a new file and paste it there, ansible.cfg. Then copy this from the defaults and paste it in that ansible.cfg. And the last thing we need to add is what Claude said. So I'm going to come here. Is the host key checking false. So I'm going to copy this. Let me paste it here for you guys. Host key checking false. Yes, thank you, Mr. Tolani. Yeah, and that's what to everyone. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So in organizations, would you want to set it up like that? The host key checking false for security reasons. Would you want to do it false or true?
No, I mean, it's fine being false because, so you can say what Claude is saying. There are only two ways you can do it. Either you manually SSH into them because that's the default behavior of Ansible, right? So there's no work around it. So what he was saying here is like by default, it requires the host to already be known, right? It requires like the host, those servers are already in your known host. And I can show you the known host that is talking about. The known host is on your computer, is on your, you can see here in my .ssh on my computer, you can see this known host file. Every time you use this private key to SSH into something, whatever you SSH into gets added to the known host here, meaning that is something you trust to connect to. It's the same thing here, right? I'm already in the Ansible play, but if we go in the .ssh and ls there, you will see known host there. So what if we were doing an organization, either when we launch servers, we automatically add them to known host, or we disable that flag. We use this flag to disable it. You understand? So it could be done either way. But I think if you are launching servers in your EC2 instance anyway, like is in your account, so this won't pose any security risks if we to turn that known host checking off. All right. So here we've created our configuration file. Let's save it and let's push it. So right here, I'm going to create it. Yes. Yes. Aside from Ansible, can we use pipeline to deploy code to both web servers at once? Yes. Yes, there's always the thing about DevOps is there is always tools you can use to deploy. There, there isn't just one way to do things. There's so many different ways to do the same thing. For example, we can use AWS CLI to create an EC2 instance. We can use Terraform. We can use Ansible. We can use CloudFormation, right? And we can use the management console. All of them will do the same thing. But the thing about it is, which method is the best method that will be much efficient, right? So in DevOps, most of those tools can do the same thing. But for example, if you are building your infrastructure, you wouldn't use Terraform. You wouldn't use Ansible to build your infrastructure because it is not the ideal tool to do that. Yes, it can do it, but you only be giving yourself more headache by using Ansible to build your infrastructure. So we'll use a tool like Terraform to build our infrastructure. Then when it comes to our server configuration, can Terraform configure our server where we can use our Terraform code to deploy to those servers? Yes. But is it the best tool? No. That's why we'll use Ansible. So it just depends on what you are trying to do and the best tool to do it. Created Ansible CFG file. So I'm going to commit. Yes. Same changes. Okay. All right. So I've pushed it to my remote repository, which is here. If I refresh here, you can see the Ansible CFG file. Now, if I go back to my playbook on my, if I go back to my playbooks on my Ansible server, right? ls, right? The CFG file is not there. So in order to get it, I have to run git pull. So I've cloned it. Now, if I ls again, you can see the CFG file is here.
Yeah.
Now I can run that ping command again. And there you go. You can see I can ping all 4 servers, right? All 4 servers that are listed on my inventory file. You can see everything is in the same directory. You can see the inventory here. It's pretty much going into the inventory, finding those files, right? Finding the servers listed there and pinging them. So if I cat inventory, You can see everything that was pinged are the IPs that was here. Right. So this means we've set up everything from a reference architecture standpoint. We've done everything perfect. The Ansible server, Ansible is installed, has the right permissions to connect to the web servers, right? The ping lets us know that now we can run an Ansible playbook, and it will run the playbook directly to these 4 servers. All right, does anyone have any questions before we move on?
So Ansible is just a means by which we want to connect to those 4 servers and be able to run some jobs on it, right?
Yeah, so and the purpose of Ansible is to configure a server. So right now, the type of configuration we are doing here is we are installing a website. But think about it. This is just 4 servers. Imagine if you have 150 servers. Are you going to SSH into all of them to install something? No. And this is just a simple configuration we are doing. At your job, they may be doing configuration that is install this, install that. Once this is installed, they are doing heavy configuration that takes time. Sometimes when we run Ansible playbook, it can run for 30 minutes doing all the things, right? And that's just on one server. Imagine if you had to do that same configuration on 50 servers, right? That's the beauty of Ansible. Ansible is able to run all those configuration on all these servers at the same time. So it's pretty much a server configuration too. And because, go ahead.
Essentially, the grouping is also very paramount, right? If in that case a DevOps person wants to run maybe some updates on or playbook on specific service, your grouping of it
Yes.
maybe web service, that's where it becomes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And not just running your playbook, but also, like you said, you have 200 servers, but you are able to specifically say which one of those 200 servers you want to run it on, right? Which is also why tagging is very important. So when you launch EC2 and you tag them, you say I work whatever server, let's say a server is for Jenkins, they will target Jenkins. They have the proper naming too. So that way, if you are running Ansible playbook to any of those servers, you are running it to the right ones because all the work is done before by tagging the resources the way they are supposed to be tagged. And so in your inventory file is just grouping those servers. So there might be the group here Jenkins, there might be a group here Prometheus, there might be a group whatever the servers are, right? And it will be smart enough to know which one you are running it to. All right. So we have done this, we've tested. So now now that we have that CFG file, we don't have to run the command the way we were running it, right? We can now run it like this. So before we were running it like this. So now that we have the CFG file, we can just run Ansible all, meaning that we are running it to all servers, and the module we want to use is ping. So let's just try that. I'm going to clear the Ansible all -m ping. And you can see it still works. Because it's now going to the configuration file to get the other values. Okay. So next, we are going to create the playbook, right? The playbook is what Ansible used to now configure your server. So your playbook can be based on anything. It's based on what you are trying to do on the server. So let's say you have 100 servers, and on all the 100 servers, you want to install PHP on them. You can write a playbook that installs PHP. And when you run that playbook to the servers, it will install, go in all those servers, install PHP there, right? So let's, in our Ansible playbooks, and also open your reference file that I sent to you guys earlier. In there, there's a playbooks. There is a deploy website playbooks. Is a YAML file you can see here. Drag it into your Ansible's playbooks thing and say deploy website. This is the playbook we will use. And to cover a playbook, right? A playbook is in YAML. The syntax is YAML, right? And in a playbook, it's just like for YAML syntax, it will be the same thing, right? You have the options and the values for them. So here in this YAML file, we are saying name is equals to deploy website, host, right? The host we are trying to run it on, right? This playbook on is web servers, right? The same thing we have here, right? So you can have playbooks that runs on different things, right? So if you want to limit your playbook to even the specific server, so you can say any server under the group web servers, that's where this playbook will run on, right? So I think this become is giving Ansible root user privilege. So it's becoming, we typed a yes, and what it is going to become root. So it's saying change to root user pretty much, right? The same thing you would do when you were trying to install your website, right? Then before we even deploy this thing, also open this deployment script. If you want to have it for future reference, you can put it in your Ansible's playbook too. It wouldn't hurt anything, right? So in this deployment script, right, if I open it side by side, this is the deployment script we used in project 1 when we installed this Jupyter website on the EC2, right? This is the same deployment script. And you guys can see we are not doing anything new, right? So here I'm just saying like this is the beginning of the where we give the playbook a name, the host we want the playbook to run on, and we change to root user. You know, the same thing when you SSH into your EC2 instance, you change to root, right? You can see here in this script, we set a value, environment variables, and we are doing the same thing here with Ansible. So here we are setting it as variable. You can see here, vars, this is how you set a variable for the playbook. And here we have listed the variable name, S3 URI, and application code file name, right? So for the S3 URI here, we are going to paste the URI of where our file is, and we're also going to paste the name of the file. So let's just do that now. We would go to the management console. And I'm going to go to S3.
Are we using the URI because of the food path to the S3 fold?
Yes. So here I'm going to go to the folder. Wherever your Jupyter zip folder is, select it, right? The URI is here. So I'm going to copy it. And also note the name of the file is jupyter.zip, and this is the URI. So I'm going to copy the URI and paste it here. right? Then once you paste the URI, the application code file name, that's just the name of the file name. It's called Jupyter, what I just showed you. I think I accidentally pressed the insert key. Oh. All right, Jupyter. So those are the two variables we need, right? So once you have those things, the next option here is tags, right? So tags is similar to, how can I compare it to what did we just worked on? Uh, remember in our CI/CD pipeline when we were creating the steps, right? Tags is similar to that too, where these are the things you want it to do. So you are giving it in this playbook, these are the tasks you want to do, right? Tasks like update your EC2 instance, install Apache. Those are the tasks, right? And they're always in this format. It is tags, right? Indentation in YAML format matters. So you can see how all these are indented in each other. So here we have a tax. The name of the tax is update EC2. You can call it anything you want. Then here, right? The thing about it is we can say for this tag, we can run the command, right? For example, right? We can run sudo yum update and it will work. It will work. But in Ansible, you don't, Ansible is similar to GitHub Actions in a way, where in Ansible, you don't just run the command directly like that because Ansible has things that is called modules that you can use. So for example, in this example, if you are trying to update a server, the module to use in Ansible to do it is yum. So you can see here yum, and let's just go to the Ansible playbook so you guys can see. I mean the documentation. So funny enough, I really don't know how to navigate the documentation. I always just Google it. So for example, let's say Ansible module to update EC2. Right. Sometimes Google will give you here, or let's go down here. So this is the Ansible documentation, but I'm trying to help you guys find exactly how. So this is the EC2 module, right? So I'm in the EC2 module here. So I really want to be in the let me just do it this way. Ansible module update. Let's try this, packages. Right, or even if you just type Ansible playbook update packages, right? It just depends on. So the writing your playbook, there will be like a research thing. I'll just do it. Let me try Ansible yum module. That's the best way to. But I was trying to like help you guys see how you can even find the yum to begin with, right? So I'm sure if mainly from research, once you do research, it would usually bring you to the right module, right? So here you can see Ansible built-in yum module. Why is my thing freezing? Okay. So you can see this is the module in the documentation, right? So you can see Ansible built-in yum. And here you have the perimeter. So you can see the module is yum. Then the perimeters that the modules can have, right? These are all the different things the modules can have, right? Perimeters. Perimeters are equivalent to all these things you are saying under the yum. So you can see the module is yum and the perimeters is here. Or the best way you can even do is on Ansible. Well, I'll show you after this, right? So these are the perimeters that can possibly go. And something, what I always do is I just always scroll down to the end because there's always like an example here. So you can see under the example here, this is like a different type of the yum, but it's still doing the same thing. So this one is using Ansible built-in yum, right? Then the name of the package you are trying to install is, for example, if you are trying to install Apache, is HTTPD, and the state, the version you are trying to install is latest. And you can see all these different examples here. Let me see, because it's been a while since I accessed the Ansible thing. Let me see. Yeah, maybe I can find just the yum itself. Anyway, but I'll find it and I will pretty much, maybe I just need to update my playbook because the documentation may have changed from the last time. But this, we will test it. If it works, then because we can still use this one, is the same thing. It's giving us the same, it will give us the same thing. But the main thing I want to explain is that, let me close all this. The main thing I want to explain is that to run any command, right, you won't just run it like this, the way you would do it on the EC2. You have to find if there's a module to do what you are trying to do and you will use it, right? So you can see here, we are trying to update our EC2 instance. Well, the command we would normally use on the EC2 instance is yum. So here we are using the yum module and the name of the package we are trying to install, right? So this yum module, there's a lot of packages there. If it's HTTPD, you type HTTPD here. But because we're updating our EC2 instance, meaning we want to update all the packages. So here we are putting all for update, and the state, we want to update them to the latest. And anything that is cache, we also want to update those as well. That is the first part, which is what we would do here on the EC2. Then next, we will install Apache. You can see the name is install Apache. Again, the module is yum. And the package, the name is the package you want to install, right? So for example, if I can go back in that Ansible, yum. They may have changed their documentation because it's been a while since I wrote this playbook. We'll just use this for example. It's still going to be the same thing anyway. If it fails, we would, right? So here, Control F, name. It's showing up in so many different. I think this is in alphabetical order. So I just scroll down to N. You can see it here, name. You can see here. So use the section of the name of the repository in the file. But typically this is like the name is, I need to find, I think I'm in the wrong, am I on the latest one? Let me see. Ansible. No, that's not where I want to be. Anyway, well, once we run it, we'll see. But the name in the documentation, you will see it, and I'll find the links to these sections of the documentation. I'll send it to you guys. The name is the name of the package, right? Which is Apache, and the state I want to install is the present one, right? Then once we install Apache, which is the same thing we did here, right? You guys can see it's the same exact thing. We are just putting it in a format that Ansible understands. So once we install Apache, next, we are going to change our directory into the HTML directory, right? Here you can see we ran the command exactly, right? In Ansible, to run the command, change directory to the HTML directory. To run a command, you will use shell. See, we say shell, and we just put the command there. And for these ones, you could have say shell and you can say shell and put the command there, but it wouldn't be the best way to run it. Ansible always encourage you that if there's a module for what you are trying to do, use that module. Right. For this shell, it's been a while since I run this. I'm pretty sure there's probably a module to change directory. But someone had a question?
Yeah, regarding the keys, the values to those keys. And when I mean key, I mean like the name and the value. Regarding the value, like change directory, it's just you being descriptive. What it doesn't have to be something that has to be named exactly like this, but just a descriptive name. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
so this is just a description for the name. Because when your playbook is running, your playbook will run top to bottom, right? Whatever is running at the current time, this is whatever you put there, here is what will show in the playbook's output.
Okay.
So it helps you follow your installation carefully, right? So that way, that's why it is important what you put there as the description.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. So once we change our directory, we will download our file from S3, right? Which is what we did here. Here, we were just running anything to remove anything in the directory, but we don't have to do that here because there's probably nothing there, but this is just like a pre-existing cleanup, right? So, but the main thing is we'll download our application code from S3. That's exactly what we are doing here. So shell, running the AWS CLI command S3CP, right? And it's going to use the S3 URI variable we set up there and copy it into the HTML directory. Once we do that, we are going to unzip it, right? Because when we download it, it will download the Jupyter zip, then we will unzip it, right? The Ansible module to do that is, you can see here, instead of running sudo unzip, the Ansible module to unzip stuff is Ansible built-in unarchive, right? So if I copy this and just paste it here, you can see it's this first one. And here, you'll see the information on it, right? So any parameters that can have, you'll see it here. But usually when I find the right documentation, I just always go to the example section and see how it is used, right? So you can see how they use it to unzip a zip file. So you can see the structure, name, the name, the module, and the parameters that it has, right? So if we come to ours, you can see the name, the module, the parameter that it has, right? Source, meaning that where the file you are trying to unzip is located. Destination, where you are trying to store the destination, right? And this remote source, I forgot what this does. I think it's saying like to store it in the same exact, on the same exact computer you are. So let me just check that. Control V. Remote. You can see here, set to true to indicate the archive file is already on the remote system. Yeah, so this is just how, that's what I'm saying, like on the same where we are unzipping the file, this is just saying that the file is there already. If the file is already there, so that way there is no error when you are unzipping it, right? If the file is already there. So here in our playbook, they are setting it to yes, right? And the next one is just once we unzip the file, right? We are going to copy all the content out of the unzip folder into the HTML directory. So that's what we are doing here. So instead of running this command, right? Instead of running this command, here we are using the module copy. And just like this one, the source, what we are trying to copy, where it is located, and the destination we are trying to copy it to. And we're also saying it's on the same host here, on the same EC2. Then after that, once we copy it, right, we will remove, this is just cleanup. We will remove the zip folder we downloaded from S3 and the one we unzip. So here, remove the app directory, right? So the module is file. We want to remove a file, right? The path to the file here, right? And the state means what you're trying to do. Absent means you want to delete it. And we would remove the zip file again. The zip file, because now we have two files when we unzip it, right? The zip folder we downloaded and the one we unzip. So here we're just doing cleanup. So again, it will be remove the folder, right? And path to the file, to the folder, and the state is absent. So meaning that we want to delete it. Then after that, we will start the Apache service, right? And here you can see start Apache server, if not started, right? The module to do that is Ansible built-in service, right? Enable is for this. We want to enable it to always start every single time. And the name of the package on the server that we want to start is HTTPD, you see, Apache. And the state we want to start it, which is this. So I've okay, Mr. Tolani, thank you. Yeah. So there's no module for changing directory. Okay. Yeah, so the main thing I want to say is like you guys can see why we started on project one. Everything we are doing now is still the same thing we did before, concept-wise, right? The concept is still the same. The only thing we are doing now is to learn Ansible. You are just taking the commands you've used before that works, and you are putting it in a format that Ansible understands. So you guys can see that, which is why I'm always preaching about the concept. The concept always stays the same. The concept is not going to change. But if you know what you are trying to do, you can easily tell Claude to write you a playbook, and you would know what you'll be able to understand the playbook and you'll be able to read it, right? Because even if Claude makes a mistake, you can tell it, okay, this is wrong. So for example, now when I write Terraform code, I don't write it from scratch anymore. I'll just start with Claude. Then I'll change what I need to change on it. Because when I look at the Terraform code, I understand exactly what I'm trying to do. So it is still important to get the foundational knowledge, then you can now use AI to enhance it. And how you get that knowledge is, which is what I always tell you guys, always focus on the concept. It's not the commands. The commands you can figure out how to get them, but the main thing is the concept. So that is this playbook. I'm going to save it. Does anyone have any question so far? All right. So once we save it, we are going to push it. Here, I'm going to create the playbook. So once we create the playbook, we'll click commit, yes, and sync changes to push it. And once we push it, we can now go to our servers. All right, and let me just show you in GitHub is here. You can see the playbook is here, right? So on the server, I'm still in the Ansible's playbook. If I ls, my thing is frozen, so I'll just refresh here too. Anytime you refresh this, it brings you back to the EC2 user. So first we have to change our directory into the Ansible's playbook, right? Then if we ls here, we need to run git pull to get our playbook. So git pull. And here, got the playbook. If I ls again, you can see the playbook is here. All right, clear. Just to show you, if I SSH into one of these servers, I just want to show you guys, right? Before we run the playbook. SSH EC2 -user at paste that IP address, press enter. Right, I'm already in one of those servers, right? If I try to cd var www, right? You see, I can't even get to the www because the directory does not exist, right? There's nothing on this server. It's just a brand new server. So I can't even cd into HTML directory. So I just want to show you guys that. So I'm going to exit out. And that's that. So I'm back on the Ansible server now again. So now we can run this command to run the playbook, right? We just want to check. So this is just a dry run. Dry run allows you to check if there's any error in the playbook without running the playbook itself. It's always good to run the dry run because sometimes the one thing about it is like, it's not like Terraform where if you run something and it fails, you are able to fix that thing. You have to terminate that EC2 instance and run the playbook again. So it's not like Terraform where Terraform is able to automatically fix it for you. So it's always good to do a dry run. So we'll run this command and it's just Ansible playbook, the name of the playbook we want to run, and the flag is check. So we'll make sure you are in the Ansible's playbook. Clear my screen. I'll run that. Press enter. So you can see those tags, Bernard, you can see those tags, right? So you can see those tags there, right? This gathering facts, update EC2 instance that ran successfully, install Apache server that would install successfully, change directory that, and it's showing you on all the host, right? change directory, and download file. Then here, it failed on the unzip part. So let me just even see this error. To see the full traceable, error was non-type. I'm just going to give this to Claude because I'm not sure. Because since I updated this playbook, I didn't run it. So, and let me get the other playbook that I have, and I can compare it to that. Read Ansible playbook. Maybe you probably couldn't download the file from S3. I think that's what it is exactly. So there's no file. If there's no file to download, then there's nothing to unzip, right? And I said that here. All right. S3 download tags being skipped. This is the root cause of everything. The most likely reason is S3 URI variable as the placeholder empty. Check. Okay. So it's not downloading my files from S3, right? So let's check here. S3 URI is there. You know what? Let me just do it from the Ansible server. So here, I'm gonna do cat. Let's deploy. What's the name of ls cat deploy website? All right. And I'm just going to do this. I don't think I can copy it from here, but I would just show it this. And it could be maybe the Ansible server needs access to the rows too, right? Is it? I think that's probably where. And
Azeez,
I'll ask.
Azeez,
Yes.
I think the Ansible server also need to have access to S3 bucket. Like don't they need as a S3 bucket permission to download the
Yeah, I
file?
think that's what is probably causing it, but maybe because, and my thinking was, yeah, let me ask. I think that's the issue. The but that's an easy fix. We just have to add the rule to here. But I don't know why I was under the assumption the IAM rule. So create an IAM rule. Yes. All 4 servers. Yeah. So it's the 4 servers. S3 URI looks correct. Skipping download tags pointing to the web server. The web server don't have IAM rule attached. S3 read permissions without these credentials. Okay. So create an IAM role. So it's saying it should point to the 4 servers. Let me ask whether is it the Ansible server. What am I going to say? Shoot. The see, server there. There's 3 row. No, so it's saying no. The Ansible server is just it's just the orchestrator. It connects to the web server via SSH, tells them what to do. So the AWS S3CP command in the playbook actually runs on the web server, not the Ansible server. Yeah, so because it's the same thing. Ansible is connecting to it and running the playbook on those servers. So let me check the role I have on these servers. And I can change it. I think it will be under security. Not security. Actions. I can find it here. Instance settings. Modify IAM role. I don't know if I'm pretty sure. Let me just use this Jupyter one, this Jupyter full access one. Let's see if I can do all this at once. I can't do it at once. I have to do it one at a time. I'm sure that role has it, but I'll just let me just select this Jupyter one. Then I can go and verify. I'm sure if you guys run it, you guys should have the role set properly, so it shouldn't give you any error. If anyone is getting the same error as me, let me know. Jupyter full access. Options, security, modify. Dev Jupyter role S3 full access. So let me go to IAM. IAM roles to this one right here. So yeah, it has S3 full access. So let me just do that run again. It's skipping on the changing directory. Update the EC2 instance. Hold on. Let me see. Shell. Download file. The EC2 as it S3. Access. Oh, that's probably the case. Do you guys know? Oh, wow. That would be disappointing. Do you guys know if AWS CLI is installed on Amazon Linux? Let me just check. I think that's the issue. Wow. Why wouldn't AWS CLI come on it? Let me see. What's the command? To try if AWS CLI is installed. EC2. I think the issue might be AWS CLI is not installed. Maybe AWS dash dash version. So let me. Oh, okay, I think I copied the wrong thing. Wait. All right. I copied the whole thing. Let me just copy just this. Okay, AWS CLI is installed. So what could be so you can see here, it's already even skipping on changing directory. On zip folder. Can I copy this? I don't think I can copy it. No. Get to the root of this. It might be my playbook is wrong. I need to fix something in there. Eight.
Or do you want to paste the entire playbook in Cloud?
I can't copy it from there. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can give Claude my playbook too as well. It's skipping on the tags to change directory. This is really how a job of a DevOps engineer is, honestly, when you are deploying. And the reason why a lot of the demos I do, where there is not always like troubleshooting session, is because I always test it before I come here. But this one, I didn't test it. I didn't have time to. That's why I was telling you guys earlier that, but the playbook was my old playbook, which should work, but I did change some, which have been skipped, pointing to the YAML independent problem in the playbook. The shell tags are likely not being recognized. Passes. Also the shell tags is the problem. Seeding the shell tags doesn't passes.
Or is it any of the these things? What are
Okay, let me.
the parameters duplicated to?
No, I think it's just how my playbook is structured. Let me just give you my playbook. This is my playbook. The playbook looks correct. So when conditions indentation, so when conditions indentations are fine, the fact that both shell that's our being escape points to, oh my God, this thing always gives me problem all the time. So is this thing, it's talking about this, right? The fact that when I prepare my files on a Windows computer, right? Then I now go run it on Linux, it always just causes issue, right? Because Windows always leaves some funny characters there. Let me just see. How may I inspect the file in VS Code to see the let's see RLF. I want to see if I can show you guys what this stuff is saying. Oh, I see. Right. So the issue is, so sometimes when I give you guys file, that's something, if you are working with Linux, something to pay attention to, right? So you can see here, right? When I always prepare all this stuff on my Windows computer, right? And here you can see in Visual Studio Code, you can see CRLF here, right? Which would somehow make the file with like some special characters in it for Windows. Then when we run it on Linux, which our IC2 is Linux, it should be in Linux line ending, right? Which is LF, right? So here, so just in case if you guys are running on your Mac, so anything on your Mac, quick way to change it is like here. If you click here, you can see the LF there, you can change it, right? But since I already copied it to my EC2, the way I can do it is run this. So it's saying run this. So let's just run this and see. On my EC2, I'm going to clear my screen. LS. Oh no, I need to CD. Ansible. CD. Ansible. Oh, I'm on the exit. And to get back on the Ansible's playbook.
You didn't type the exit word.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Exit. Let me just log back in again because I think I lost track of where I was. Ansible server, connect. Okay, ls. All right, good. CD, Ansible, Ansible playbooks, ls. All right, deploy YAML. I'm going to paste that command there to clean it. All right. Now I'm going to do that dry run thing again. Oh, it's not showing. Let me just copy it.
No, it came, you just passed by.
No, that's the other one. That's the one to ping it.
You want to run the one with the dash check, right?
No. Yeah, with the one with the check. Did I
Yeah,
pass it?
Yeah, you passed.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Okay, let's run it again. Still doing the same thing. Let me see what this was saying. So fix it by running. Okay, so fix by running, then also remove the useless CD tags.
I like the way it
Delete the CD
useless
block,
CD.
right? So it looks like this. Install Apache. All right. So CD tags. Why you add it? Okay. So once me. So it needs to go install Apache server, download. Okay. So I'm just going to change this to that. Install Apache server. So it said remove this. This is redundant. Because yeah, I don't need to change directory to it because it's going to copy the file directly into the HTML directly anyway. So that CD is not really needed. That's true. So I just made all the change here. I change it to LF here. We're just going to push it. Same changes. All right. So it needs to go like that. Then run. Okay. Then I'm going to play git pull. All right. Then I'm going to run my check. It's not downloading from S3. So something is wrong. Let me see something. So SSH, EC2 hyphen user at. So these are all the ways you can troubleshoot something. So I'm going to copy this, and here, paste it here, enter. So I'm on the EC2 instance, right? So I'm going to do this. Where's the command? I'm going to S3 URI. Oh, is my spelling wrong? I have to check all that stuff. S3 URI. Why is this thing deleting? I have insert a thing on. There you go. Copy. Yeah. So you can download it. LS, you can see it is there. So sudo.
Check the URI on the placeholder.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to check now. Sudo rm open area Jupyter. Just going to delete it. LS. Okay. So at least I know that server can download stuff. So is either something is wrong with my playbook, the way I uh, to deploy YAML. And it could also be maybe how I'm doing the vars. It's probably not picking up the the characters in it is probably breaking it. So that's probably the next thing I need to check. So where am I? Copy this here. This is really how working as a DevOps engineer is. This is most of the time what you'll be doing, troubleshooting stuff. So Jupyter, right? So I don't think this is the issue, but I think, could this be the issue? I think this could be the issue. Right. I just have to look. I'm connected to the server and run the copy command, which works the issue. Because that's likely the issue. The paper becomes the paper has become yes and become root, which means S3 copy command runs as root, but IAM root credentials are accessed by our EC2 metadata service, which works fine. What did I run on that EC2? I ran sudo. Let me just show it this. So, extra access works fine on the web server. The problem is definitely the playbook itself, causing the shell tags to be skipped, not the permission issue. So it's not a permission issue. Go back to the Ansible server and run the CL, then verify if the file is clean. So it's still saying it's probably the thing. So let me try that again. Exit, clear. Paste that here. And what else? This. Line should end with $sign. Yeah, that's the thing with YAML file. It's just like, let me see. The file's clean. So yeah. The file is clean, no. Since shell tags are consistently skipping across all hosts, run the playbook with more variables to see exactly. Ansible deploy BVV. This shows the exact reason for each skip. Also overriding becomes.
Yeah, I think it mentions a dash VVV on the error.
It did.
Yeah.
Download. Okay. So run this. Clear. Paste. Now it's not giving any error. Did it give any error this time? No. So it's probably that thing. Maybe when I ran it, it didn't work. Right. Well, I can't even print out the output that this thing is saying to give. So everything, it actually works this time. Let me clear. I think it's still that file on Linux. I mean, updating the file on creating the file on my computer and running it on Linux. I think that's the issue. This command probably fixed it. I don't know why I didn't fix it the first time. Let me do the check again. Okay. Oh my God.
Can you see it's fewer errors now on the unzip folder? It used to be a lot of errors, but it's now fewer.
Mm-hmm. But it's still skipping the download part though. Let me just copy this. I'm not sure, honestly, because all the setup is set up correctly, but it's just the Ansible part. So, and I think the issue is probably with the playbook or
Can we check the part? It's talking about it not existing. So
Yeah, because it's not downloading it, so there won't be a file to unzip, right? So the issue is still on the download part, right? Because if it's not downloading it, then the file will not exist.
Sure.
So, because we've tested it on the thing. You know what I think it is? I think is how this is forming the string. So that's why I was asking it. I think it missed it. You know what? Let's do this. Let's, instead of using these bars, let's just paste this there directly. Then later on we can address the vars, because I think that's what's causing the issue, honestly. I think it's this part. So I'm not going to use these bars. Right? And I'm going to copy my URI. So when you're troubleshooting, you just gotta try everything. I'm going to copy my URI and paste it there directly, which is what I ran. Here. And let's try that. So, and if that works, then I know it's just how that syntax is. Because YAML is very funny sometimes. So I'm going to push it. Run.
It looks like you commented on the file, so it won't run that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But I only want it to run to this point to see if I'm able to download the file. I'll fix the rest, but this is where the issue is now, so that's why I'm just narrowing it to that. So here, going to git pull. All right, clear. And I'm going to run it again. It's still skipping. What is it saying now? Yesterday download is still skipping. They changed 0, which means Ansible is treating it as already done. Try replacing shell with command. Okay. With command module. Sometimes shell has issues with privileges. Escalation on Amazon Linux 2023. So it's saying change, instead of using shell, use command module. So let's see. So I'll just change this back. And I have shell, Control F. I'm going to use command Control V. I think that's the only place I'm using it. Okay, change that. Git pull. Clear. And check. Still skipping. The only other thing, I know what we can do that works, right? I know what we can do that works. It's just this. This is annoying. maybe I can do more research on it to see how, or maybe when we are doing dry run, maybe it's because we are doing dry run and dry run does not, since it's supposed to download the file, it's naturally not going to download it.
It could be.
Since we are running dry run with it down. Because there's nothing wrong with what we've set up, honestly. Download
the S3 files.
the S3. Oh, that's the issue. Psh, that's the issue. We've been running dry run check mode on the old time. In check mode, oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Jesus Christ. I just literally like wasted like 40 minutes on, oh my God.
I
All
don't
right,
think it's
okay.
wasted. We've learned a lot from that.
Funny enough, this is how it usually is, right? You would, when you learn something from the first time, it will be something so simple in your face, but it will be, but at least I'm glad you guys got to see how sometimes you would troubleshoot, right? We'll
Yeah.
check a whole bunch of things. And usually troubleshooting is usually process of elimination, right? You saw a lot of the things we eliminated trying to figure out the cause, right? So essentially running without the check. Obviously, if I run it without the check, but we're actually deploying it, right? So it's process of elimination. We pretty much eliminated everything down to this was like the last one. Maybe it was that. So now let's try it. But I think let me just make sure all my playbook is exactly how I had it before. So
the placeholder you need to take it out.
so I need to change this back to shell. Let me try the shell one and see. Well, you learn something new every day. I didn't know the dry run is going to skip it, which makes sense. So, all right, now we're actually going to run it for real. But you know what I'm going to do? Just in case if anything fails, we can run it multiple times so it doesn't. So for now, I'm going to remove two servers, these two, from my inventory file. So in case if it fails, that means it's only going to run it on these two. In case if anything fail, I can add the other two and we can, or if this is successful, we'll run it on the other two. And all right, so now I'm going to come here. Clear. I'm going to git pull. Ansible playbook without this. So it says running it on just those two servers, right? And done. It worked.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Even me, I didn't know that check. The dry run will skip something. I thought it was just going to give you like a preview of it. So it worked. So these are the two servers we ran it on, right? You can see everything is successful here. And the tax is based on what we put in our playbook, right? So you can see it here. It's telling you what it did. So here, the change means that the state changed from whatever it was before. So meaning it downloaded the tags on zip. everything. So when you are saying this, you either say change or, and I don't really, and I have to find like the link to for you guys to see exactly what each means. But if you see yellow and green, that's okay. What you don't want to see is red. So here you can see the recap. Everything is good. So if I go into this 10, let me just copy the other two. All right, I did there. So this one is 10. So I'm just going to SSH 10.0.3.90. Oh no, I need to. Funny enough, let's try this. I think this will work too. You guys know why this works? Why you can do it like this? And I didn't have to put the EC2-user because
we are already in the EC2, right?
yes, because the server I'm connecting from and the server I'm connecting to is the same. So it pretty much use the default EC2 username. All right, so here if I cd var www html, you can see I can now change directory. If I ls, you can see all my web files are there.
Yeah.
So that's that part. Yeah, so sorry, there was no issue with the playbook all along. It was just the dry run I was running. So the playbook is fine, but it's good. Still remove the changing directory tags because we really don't need to do that. Since this is already doing that. This is already downloading the file and putting it directly into the HTML directory. So we don't need to change the directory. All right. We are pretty much done. The only other thing is this server is in the private subnet. So let me just set up a load balancer real quick. And we are pretty much done. So here we would target group, create target group, instance, just call it dev target group. This IPv4, I'll select my VPC, and all this stays the same. And click next. Here, we are going to select our server. Which server was it? 10.04, 5190. 5190. This one, the first one, 90, the second to last. Include as pending below, 5190. Let me just make sure. 34, 390, 451. 390, 451. Okay. And click next. And create target group. Then I'm going to create my load balancer. Load balancer, create dev ALB, internet facing, my Ansible VPC. Yeah, I'm going to select the two availability zones and make sure I select the public subnet. Security groups, I'm going to select the ALB. Listeners port 80 will redirect traffic to HTTPS. And we'll add another listener, which is HTTPS 443. That would forward traffic to the target group. And That's all we need to do here. And here we'll add our SSL certificate from ACM there. I'm only doing this part because you guys already know how to do this. So, okay, I'll create the load balancer with the thing. Let me just create the Route 53 one too. The record set in Route 53. Juliet, Ismail, are you guys still there? So I'm going to select my DNS, my hosted zone. Going to create record www alias toggle alias on endpoint alias to application and classic load balancer Northern Virginia. Virginia region. Choose the load balancer. Create record. Right, I just need to wait for the load balancer to be. I just need to wait for the state of the load balancer to change, then we should be pretty much done. Why is my okay. All right, in the meantime, do you guys have any question? All right, so the setup with everything is good. Okay, okay, perfect. I'm just gonna make sure. I was trying to make sure I didn't lose you guys on that, trying to troubleshoot that thing.
We are here.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
The troubleshoot was good.
Yes, but it's good when you are learning, but I usually don't like doing too much troubleshooting just because of the playback when someone is watching it. I don't know. Some people like seeing it, just seeing the troubleshoot, because to be honest, when you are doing projects, that's the part that is not in the project, but it's also good for learning.
Yeah, because we can know how to troubleshoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So troubleshooting is part. Every single time we deploy stuff, there's always something you have to troubleshoot. It's always part of the thing. Yes, Mr. Talani. So the playbook was fine. It was just because I was running dry run, so something that's new to me. So when you do dry run on the playbook, it will skip. Claude said it will skip anything on that any tags on that shell or command. It will skip it. So since our copy command is under shell, it skipped it and it was failing on the next task, which is to unzip it. So, which makes sense. Yeah, it's because I was running the dry run. So the dry run is good generally to check, but if you get any error in it, like things like that, or certain things is skipping, don't. I guess I shouldn't have taken it as the real run. I should have just. But I didn't know that's what dry run did. That dry run will skip that. All right, let me refresh here. All right, this is done. I can copy my thing here, copy it here, and paste it here. Press enter. And there you go. Can access my website. And that's pretty much it. So the main thing with Ansible that I want you guys to just take away is just understanding what Ansible is and why we need it. The difference what the difference between inventory file, playbook, and CFG file, right? Ansible configuration file. Those are typically the ones that will come up in an interview, right? What is an Ansible module, right? Just the module is like they are equivalent to actions in GitHub Actions. Like they are things that you can use to do a task instead of running a command just straight like that. There might be a module you can use that will do the same thing. And also, Ansible playbook is in YAML format, right? And yep, and that's pretty much it. And that pretty much brings us to the end of this cohort. We are pretty much done with all the projects.
Great job.
It took a long time since November. Congratulations to you guys. I'm glad you guys, the ones that made it this far.
Yeah. Prof, I do have a question. It might be
Sure, go ahead.
unrelated though. I think in some few months past, you had some ideas about Azure projects that you wanted to do. I don't know how far you've come with that.
I did one of the projects, which is on the site, and I think I posted it on YouTube too. But I feel like there's so much stuff to learn with AWS that I've kind of like fell back on the Azure one.
Okay.
And also just finding time to record everything and posting it and all that stuff. It's just gonna take too much time. Then I started doing this AWS live session again where I was teaching and I'm also updating all the previous course on the site that you guys have. So I think it's just too much work for me to do the Azure one. Unless if I learn it and I do it as a live project like this. But I did the static one, which is on YouTube. And it is also on the site as well.
Azeez,
Hello. Hi.
yeah, hi. So what about the mock section?
Yeah, so that one I need to plan it out and see how to run it. But even if I did that one will be based on like a project you guys will work on, then you can present the project and I can also do it as like an interview type of thing. So let me think about it, how I want to structure it. Yeah. So let me think about it. But it's gonna be based on if you guys you guys let me know, do you guys want a final project that you guys have to go work on? And I can probably prepare it and maybe next week I would present it. We can just meet real quick. I'll present it, then I'll probably give you guys a couple of weeks to work on it, then we'll come back after that. If anyone wants to present it and like just present it, then I can ask you questions based on this and that. And I can probably invite some other people that can ask you guys questions. Schedule, do it like an interview style, then we can do that.
That would be great, please.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't have any details on I don't have any details on the final project yet, but I'll prepare this week and maybe we can just meet next week to talk about it. All right.
Aziz, and when are you scheduling to start the next cohort? For example,
yeah, I'm not sure yet.
okay.
At this point,
Thanks.
I don't know if I'm going to start immediately. Because I don't, if I start again, it'll be you guys. And not that I don't mind running it with you guys again, but it just depends on if I have enough people that are willing to go through it. So,
Yeah,
because
I think
it is a lot of time.
mm,
I won't do it for one person. It is a lot of time and effort to like be
yeah,
here
I
every
know.
Saturday. So, and also
Mm,
we start with a lot of people and I'll do it again, but I'll just have to say it depends on
mm, No, I think maybe what I could ask you, maybe next time, is just maybe the first and second, just the brief of how did you go about, or maybe we should, do you have a recording for those, no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then it's okay. Then I can just, because I catch up from the fourth one, so the three I can go on, yeah, no, it's okay. So
But I thought
far,
you
and
said, sorry. Oh, is this Chris? Sorry,
yes, it's Chris.
I thought it was John. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The first and second one
Pretty
are on
straightforward.
YouTube, right? And it's very
Okay.
straightforward. But I'll remind you, I'll definitely do it again. I'll do it again. It'll probably be very, very soon, but I need to like put the information out there and see who's interested and all that stuff. Then once I have people, then I'll run it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a favor, unless if you say we need to wait for another group of people, so like we can maybe, it will depend how you see it, but we can just maybe brief on one, two, and then, or maybe I go through it. If I've got question, then I come back. I think that maybe that could also work
Yes.
until such time. Yeah, it
Yes. I think that would
shouldn't
be
be a
good.
problem.
Yes, I think that would be good because
Give you a
even
bit
if we
of a
did
break.
it, if we if I run it live, it will still be the same thing as the video.
Okay,
So
no, true.
yeah. And if you want a shorter version of it, a shorter version of it is on my site without the whole live thing. So that's also there.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Mr. Emmanuel, go ahead. Mr. Emmanuel, your voice is very low. I don't know if it's yes, sir, but it's still very low. You sound far away.
Is it better?
No, it's still the same.
Anyway, just the project for all those. I think they came out email and
I can't hear you at all, Mr. Emmanuel. I'm sorry. It's like your voice is like extremely low. And when you start talking, it even just fades out. Is it just me or can you guys hear him?
No, we can't hear him.
Okay.
I can't hear him.
Not at all.
Okay.
So while Mr. Manuel is getting ready, did we talk about Kubernetes at all, or was it not part of what we initially just said we wanted?
We did Kubernetes already.
Oh, okay. Probably that was the day I missed.
Yeah, we did. We worked on Kubernetes. Yeah, we worked on Kubernetes. It's on
Aziz,
the video is on the site as well. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Please, can I just share my screen so you can? I'm having issue somewhere, so you can just point me through.
Okay,
Very
sure.
quick.
Yes, thank you, Juliet, Ismail. You guys are like I feel like I need to. Are you guys on LinkedIn? I want to come add you guys because I feel like I need to put a face to you guys' name. Guys have been here. And the fact that you guys are in Nigeria is late now, and you've always joined consistently. By any means, do you guys know each other? Juliet, you and Ismail, do you guys know each other? Are you guys joining as like a group or you follow me on LinkedIn? Oh, I need to, well, you don't have to put your name here, but you can email me your name so I can know exactly. Or is your name also Juliet on LinkedIn? I can go check my followers and see. The fact that you guys are in Nigeria and you guys still always join consistently, I'm really very impressed by that.
I've sent you a request.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen.
Yeah, I did send you a request.
Is it saying that I need to approve it?
Yeah, I've sent you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 1 second. Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit now.
Yes, those project assets that you said you will email to us.
Okay. Which one do you have it up to? You have the project up to
4.
4. Yes, I haven't prepared anyone for 5 and 6, 7. But because I'm updating the course, but in the process of doing that, I think I'm going back to update project 4 and 5. Once I do that, I'll have the asset. I'll send it to you after.
Thank you.
I'm staying in
Yes,
class.
sir.
No, but when does your class finish?
Almost finished. Go.
No, he's fine. It's good. That's like my son too. Always okay.
Please, I'm having this issue with my Git.
Mhm.
Whenever I'm pushing, this is what I get. So I've been trying to.
Right, click publish branch. What does this say? So
It's
it's
like
saying over
showing
there.
2 versions. I don't know, maybe.
So
Git
which
or
one did
private
you
and Git or private, Git or public.
click the private one?
Already exist.
So I think what you should do is just you should probably just delete what I will do is I will clone my repository again. So just pick a different directory, clone your repository to that directory.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've made any changes here that you are trying to push or if it's up.
I did make some changes, but I tried to push the changes back to GitHub. They wouldn't go through.
Yeah, I think it's probably not the same. So here you added the zip file, git lfs. So yeah, I think I don't necessarily understand it's probably your folder structure or the way you copied something. So I'm looking at the history there.
This one,
Go
right?
to save the main. Yes, that one. I would say don't delete this yet. Just leave this the way it is. Clone your repository into a different directory.
Okay.
Then if you want, you can now, any file you make changes to, if you want to move it to that repository, you can move it there. Then now run your git push on that one.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly where things went wrong here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not really showing an error. It's just showing that you have tried the public one, let's see. Because it seems like maybe the repository what you are working on now is not really a cloned repository. It's probably your own I don't think this is a repository. So that's probably why when you are trying to, because you see, it say there you are trying to publish the branch, meaning that you're pushing it for the first time. So just clone your repository to your local, then move whatever files in here to that one you clone, then you'll be able to push it. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem, sir. All right. Yes. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you, Juliet. So I'll check. Mr. Talani, you are welcome, sir. Thank you. You are welcome. So I want you guys to take pretty much so this is just the beginning, right? Then you can take this knowledge and expand on it. So I think now moving forward, even for me, there are other projects that I'm working on. Once the project is done, I would let you guys know. I'll share with you guys. And I think how you can expand on this knowledge is now you can start building different agents by yourself, right? With the help of Claude, use your cloud knowledge because now you can host it. You know about how to create the infrastructure and everything. For me, how I'm doing it is since I'm not a Python programmer, I can't really like code heavily in Python. So I'm letting Claude be my software engineer, code the Python idea that I have, and I'm now hosting it in AWS. But it's like a whole AI agent that is doing something. So you can probably list like a bunch of things you are trying to do or problems you are trying to solve, and you can pretty much use this knowledge to create it, right? So just don't stop learning from here. You guys continue to build. Once you've done, this is just the beginning. Once you've done with this, now you can take this knowledge and pretty much run with it. I will prepare it this week, and let's meet back next week, and I'll present it to you guys, and you guys can go work on it. And I'll try to like maybe incorporate a bunch of things we did to make it a little bit challenging. So it will be very nice. All right, congratulations, guys. I'm very proud of you guys on finishing, and I'll see you guys next week to talk about the assignment. Then we'll move on from there. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
All
God
right, no
bless you.
problem. Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll meet next week. Bye. All
You
right.
did it.
Right, thank you very much.
No problem, Captain. Captain, I'll send the stuff to you. Don't
Sure,
worry.
sure,
Yeah.
sir. No
Yeah.
problem. Thanks.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much, Aziz.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
sir. You're welcome,
Yeah.
Mr. Abel.
And okay, I sent you a direct message here, so I think that is also, if you check, and it's fair. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just,
Okay.
don't mind me. Sometimes I just
Okay.
procrastinate because of
No, it's okay, sir. All right. Thank you.
a bunch of stuff going on, but
Sure.
don't
All
worry. I
right.
got you.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Have a
Yes,
good
sir.
day.
You too. You too. Mr. Manuel, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. All right. On YouTube, Juliet, Ismail, Wisdom, OBO, Samuel, next week. Mr. Talani, next week. I'll see you guys next week.
So
We'll
Aziz, I'll
discuss.
try and give you a call on Slack.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Azeez. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. All right. Bye. Okay. All right. Good, Juliet. Good evening. And I'll see you guys next week where I'll just talk about the final projects and you guys can go work on it. All right. Bye.